In our last video, we had just gotten back from Block Island, so we spent some time in Newport, Rhode Island, and then headed up further on the Narragansett Bay, where we toured the town of Bristol, Rhode Island, hung out with some friends on their Hog Island cottage, did some clamming in our secret spot and had some clams on the half shell, and then hung out at Sunset Cove and did a little bit of maintenance on the boat. In this video, we attend an end of the season party at Sunset Cove, and conveniently it was right on one of my big birthdays, and we also borrowed a nice little sports car from one of our friends. We moved down to Watch Hill, Rhode Island for a night, and then ended up going to Mystic, where we docked in Mystic Seaport and saw all the sights of this beautiful museum. Have you ever dreamed of selling it all and cruising into the sunset? Well, that's exactly what we did. It's no fun going it alone though, so why don't you join us for the ride? Sorry for not getting a video out sooner, but we had a lot of bugs with the software that we use. But that's all behind us. So from time to time we need a car, and luckily we have friends that loan us their cars. And here it is. You gotta have good friends who have nice loaner cars.
You wanna drive?
Sure. So technically, Nicole used to work on my team, but I like to say that we used to work together. This is Nicole. This is Nicole and Rob's car. It's there, and this is Nicole's car, not Nicole and Rob's car. But going out to dinner with my former team before I retired, and Nicole was nice enough to pick me up and allow me to use her car yesterday when Laura and I went to a funeral. So the message here is be good to your people. If you manage people, be good to them, and they will be good to you. So my old team and I having dinner, and Lenny, who is was a member of my team, said that his granddaughter wanted to come to the boat, visit Pancake. Hey, who are we going to visit?
Pancake.
Pancake. And I got it right. You're 11, right?
No, I'm 7.
7. Oh man, they rhyme, so I keep thinking 11. It was Zara's first boat ride and dinghy ride. She had a wonderful time, and we were happy to have her spend some time with Pancake. We also had some more visitors. My brother and his wife stopped by. Sunset Cove had an end of the season party with a number of food trucks and a live band, and it happened to fall on my birthday. We were anchored in the cove just a couple hundred yards behind the band. And if you remember Robin from our last video, she was nice enough to surprise me, show up with a birthday cake. Then we hit up a favorite restaurant of ours called the Revival Craft Bar and Kitchen in Warren, Rhode Island for some osso buco, along with a flight of bourbon. And my birthday evening was capped off by fireworks right behind the boat. The next day, we left Sunset Cove and Narragansett Bay, Rhode Island for Watch Hill, Rhode Island. We had a great trip, calm seas. This is Fisher's Island, New York in the background, actually, as we head into Watch Hill, Rhode Island, passing Stonington, Connecticut. Beautiful Watch Hill, Rhode Island. And this anchorage is Napatree Point. Day after Labor Day. Yesterday there was probably I don't know, almost 100 boats in here, and now there's maybe 20. But it's a beautiful, calm anchorage, protected. We're gonna take the cakes into the beach. Hey, hon. Where we go?
Oh, we're going to the beach. Show pancake and run around. That's fun.
What's the name of this beach? Do you remember?
Oh, it's a big one. Napa Tree.
Napa Tree. Yep. Nope, we're after Labor Day. By 2 days. And by 1 day. Come on! Come on, come on! Yeah! After Pancake was done doing her zoomies, we took a short dinghy ride into the little town of Watch Hill. It was super early and we just wanted to dump off some trash, but Watch Hill is a cute little town with about 20 different shops, and there's a carousel there, a public beach. Taylor Swift lives nearby if anyone's interested, and there's also a world-class hotel called the Ocean House. Also, while in Watch Hill, we got a surprise visit from our new niece, Camila. We then left for Mystic, Connecticut, which was about an hour away. Coming into Mystic, Connecticut. Little island houses at the entrance to Mystic. Noank, Connecticut, on the way into Mystic. Cute little seaside town. In Mystic, you have to pass through 2 drawbridges to get to the seaport, the first being a railway bridge and the second being a vehicle bridge. In addition to museum projects, we learned that the Seaport takes on commercial projects to help with self-funding, and there's a lot going on there, and it's an active boatyard. The Seaport is very picturesque. It has a variety of tall ships and on-site exhibits. The Seaport Museum docks are adjacent to the museum itself and are super convenient, and you also get free admission to the museum. We only stayed 1 night, but in hindsight, we probably should have stayed a couple because there was really so much to see both in the museum and in Mystic itself. The first thing we did was to check in with the very friendly and helpful dockmaster. He let us know about the brand new facilities created for visiting cruisers. There's actually a little hidden entrance to the amenity suite just behind one of the public bathrooms on the property. Super nice bathrooms and showers for boaters. All brand new. Vanities. Free washers and dryers. In a boater's lodge. Lounge. Rather, air conditioned with big screen TV. One of the more popular exhibits is the Charles W. Morgan, a former whaling ship. I think the only surviving whaling ship of 2800. It's pretty cool. The captain's quarters, complete with an ensuite head, or should I say, a hole through the floor. Poop deck. The captain had an office in the rear of the boat.
There were at least 3 decks, but I think the very bottom one was closed off.
Stacks and stacks of bunks.
The general crew quarters were up front and pretty tightly packed, like sardines, and no doubt very bumpy as it was in the front of the ship.
Size of the block and tackle.
When they sighted whales, they lowered smaller boats and crew went off to harpoon the whales. There was an additional indoor exhibit about whaling that was very interesting. Had a number of whales' teeth as well as bones, and also an interesting display of who got paid and how much of a share they got paid when they came back to port.
Firefighter boat. It's closed to board.
Decided to do too.
The Seaport is basically set up like a historic town with many different buildings that would be occupied by the craftsmen there. Many of the buildings had volunteers within them that would explain to you what it was all about. This particular one was a cooper who was involved in barrel making. The blacksmith had a working fire and bellows and would make a number of metal items, including the harpoons. This wood carver made signs and other decorative items. A rigger is responsible for all of the sails and the masts and the rigging on the sailing ship.
Super cool. It smells very damp and old. Spars and blocks and everything you need. Wow, the size of this block here. Oh my god. For reference, this sort of potions, leeches. Herbal medicines.
We were sort of moving through there quickly, but you could really spend a lot of time in each of these buildings.
These oyster rakes, that'd be a good 20 feet long. Scale models. Wow, look at those. The chicken. The metallic life car for life saving. Wow. It's like a small metal submarine. It's for saving shipwrecked crew.
There were a few sheds dedicated entirely to restoring old boats.
Huge long building. So it's like the rope making. Huge building. Wow. all on cars where they twist the rope. It's just vast. Must be a couple 100 feet long.
This particular exhibit is dedicated to the carvings that were on the front of the sailing ships. I know that we very quickly touched on a lot that Mystic Seaport Museum has to offer. Definitely go there. You could at least spend an entire day walking through it, and you don't have to necessarily love boats to enjoy it. After a day of touring, a friend of ours stopped by. We decided to go out and do one last celebration of my birthday. It was just a short dinghy ride from the museum under the drawbridge to the restaurant.
The Bravo Bravo night.
Another tough day of Bravo Bravo.
Chillin' in Bravo, our favorite restaurant in
We got some ricotta and
Is
carpaccio.
beef carpaccio.
beef carpaccio ricotta. So we have a little bit of a problem of the day, problem du jour. It's with our toilet, so potentially it's a shitty problem. So let's see if we can get it to act up now. So basically, the pump just started making some real funky noises when you flush it. It goes away, but when it starts off, it really whines loudly, something new. So it probably has to do with the macerator pump. This is where the macerator pump is. And if I take this cover off here, that's the pump. Basically what it does is it takes the contents of the toilet, puts it through a little blender, blows the contents out of this small hose here and into the waste holding tank. So this should come out here with 4 screws, and this is the flush water, so this is fresh water. I have to take those hoses off and just kind of put this all back together again. It's going to be a shitty job. So if I pull the floorboard out in the bathroom here, it looks like this is the wiring that goes to the pump, positive and negative. So I will just cut it here, and that's where I will wire in the new one. Those are some hoses for and a pump for the water maker, but this is the water supply line here coming to the toilet, and this here is the through hole. When you're out 3 miles into sea, you could actually pump out your toilet water, your holding tank, into the ocean, but you got to be 3 miles out, more than 3 miles out. Right now it is closed in the sideways position because everything goes into the holding tank. So that's the job of the day. So this is the new macerator pump. Cost about $260. Got it on Amazon in 24 hours. Pretty amazing. It's good when it's your waste pump. Here's where I would connect to the in for the freshwater supply to flush the toilet, and then the out, this actually goes to the toilet, so this pump will handle that. This part here, this blender, is the macerator, so it takes all the solid waste from the toilet, chops it up through there, and then blows it out this little hole here, there's something called an impeller here that acts as kind of like a propeller type device to create force and then blow it out the line into the holding tank. So it's pretty easy. These holes on each side here for mounting screws, and just unscrew the old one, cut the wires, disconnect these things, pull it out, and hopefully not get too much waste all over us. And then there's an O-ring here. This O-ring seats into this groove all around this unit here. It sits there, and we'll lube that up with some synthetic grease, and that provides a seal so the toilet water doesn't leak out around the pump. So that's pretty much what we're up against. Should be fairly easy, hopefully not too messy. So also this little, they call it a keyway, this little nodule here stays up in the 12 o'clock position on the pump because this thing moves freely, but you want to keep it in the 12 o'clock position here to this label when we insert it back in. So that just keeps this exit hole down here where the outgoing waste pipe is. So this thing doesn't spin freely around. It'll spin now when you put it in, but then it'll lock in place because of this here. That's the sound of a new head pump working. So everything worked just fine. It took me only 1 hour to do. The new motor is back in there. I've got the cover on, but the cool thing is, really the only thing that leaked was a little fresh water here. The wastewater has something right on the pump, on the ass end of the pump, called a joker valve or a duckbill valve. It kind of it's hollow this way, and then in the direction of the flow, it goes down, almost looks like a duckbill, and I guess it allows the bad stuff to go this way and not come back this way. So when I pulled the pump out, that joker valve did its job, kept everything away. Easy thing to do. Don't be afraid of it.
Ah, success. Now Poseidon can once again sit on his throne. Thank you for tuning in this week, and thank you for lasting this long.